Many years ago, a young principal resumed duty in a school with great enthusiasm. He had impressive qualifications, a brilliant vision, big dreams, and unwavering determination to succeed. Within a few months, the school began to change. Discipline improved, academic standards rose, teachers became more accountable. But something else also began to happen. The principal gradually stopped visiting the staff room. He stopped asking questions. He stopped taking or seeking advice. He began making every important decision all by himself. Slowly and sadly, without realizing it, he became surrounded by people, yet disconnected from people. One day, an elderly retired principal visited him and quietly said, "My son, the higher a tree grows, the more it needs strong roots." The young principal smiled politely. He didn't fully understand it at that time until one difficult day, when he desperately needed advice, he needed a wise counsel, and discovered he had no one left to call. Leadership can be a lonely journey, but it should never be an isolated one. And that brings us today to today's conversation. Welcome to the Professional Edge, Education Unlocked, the program where leadership meets learning, experience meets excellence, and conversations become catalysts for transformation. This is your home for practical ideas, fresh perspectives, and proven strategies that help educators, school owners, administrators, and leaders become better at what they do. We are reaching you from Oxygen FM 96.9 and streaming live on Facebook. I'm your host, Akin Ade, Chartered School Administrator, School Growth Advocate, and former Principal of Loyola College. And also a firm believer that great schools are built by great leaders. And great leaders are built through continuous learning. Today, we explore a leadership truth that is often ignored until it's too late. Our topic for today is titled, The Connected Leader. Why Great Leaders Never Lead Alone. Stay with me, because before this hour is over, you may discover that the greatest threat to leadership is not incompetence, it is isolation. I'll be right back. Before we talk about becoming a connected leader, let's first understand something many leaders never notice until it is probably too late. Isolation doesn't happen overnight. Nobody wakes up one morning and says, "From today, I want to become lonely." No. Isolation is like rust. It develops slowly, quietly, almost invisibly, until one day, a leader who once had friends, now has followers. They are two different things. A leader who once had advisors now has only admirers. A leader who once welcomed correction now hears only compliments. And that is a dangerous place for any leader to be. So let me ask you, if you are a school leader, or a school owner, or you are leading an organization, let me ask you this question. Have you ever wondered why some leaders become wiser with experience, while others become more defensive, more distant, and more disconnected? The difference is really intelligence. The difference is connection. So I ask the question, who exactly is a connected leader? And I'm not going to give you the dictionary definition. I'm going to give you a TFIN, the Financial Intelligence Network definition. A connected leader is not the leader who knows the most people. A connected leader is the leader who intentionally builds relationships with people who can challenge his thinking. People who can strengthen his leadership. People who can correct him when necessary. People who can help him become better than he could ever become if he operates alone or as a lone ranger. In other words, great leaders don't surround themselves with people who always say yes, sir. They surround themselves with people who sometimes say, sir, I respectfully disagree. Who is an isolated leader? An isolated leader is not necessarily a lonely leader. He may be surrounded by hundreds of people. He may have thousands of followers. He may receive standing ovation everywhere he goes. Yet, he has very few people who can question him, who can challenge him, who can correct him, or tell him uncomfortable truths. In our nation today, many of our leaders are like this. I've had a situation where a secretary to state government of a state complained that where she was coming from, she was used to seeing our leader. And when the governor heard, the governor said, you can as well go back to where you are coming from. The person is no longer there today. So we have this way by which leaders isolate themselves. So when we are talking about an isolated leader, it doesn't mean that he doesn't have people around him. He will go around, receive ovations everywhere he goes. But there are people that are surrounding him. They cannot challenge him. They can't question him. They can't correct him. And whenever a leader loses access to honest feedback, growth quietly begins to die. Let me say this. Leadership becomes dangerous not when nobody listens to the leader, but when the leader listens to nobody. He no longer takes counsel from anybody. He knows it all. Every answer, he has it. Nobody can advise him. That is when leadership becomes dangerous. Let me ask you another question. But this is not a question that I want you to answer to me. Answer to yourself. In English language, we call it rhetorical question. It doesn't need an answer from you. If everyone around you agrees with you all the time, are you leading wisely? Or are people simply afraid to tell you the truth? All right, you have answered inside of yourselves. All right, let's go on. Leadership isolation rarely begins with pride. It often begins with busyness, then success, then authority, then distance, then silence, and finally isolation. Look at the progression: success, authority, distance, silence, and finally isolation. So what I'm saying is that isolation doesn't just spring up. It's a process. It's not an event. It's a process. And you have seen 4 stages before isolation comes in. It begins with business, success, authority, distance, silence, and then isolation. Whether you are leading a school, or you are leading a church, you are in an organization, you are an entrepreneur, at whatever position of leadership you have found yourself, you need to know this. Every leader needs trusted truth tellers. People will look at you straight in the face and say, "Sir, you are wrong. I disagree with you. Why don't you let us look at it this way?" 2, feedback is not an attack. It is a gift. I remember somebody told me a story when Daddy Freeze was attacking the Christian leaders. And one of the leaders, when he was told, the leader in his characteristic humble manner said, "The young man is performing his duty as God has sent him. Who knows, we may have 1 or 2 things to learn from his criticism." So feedback is not an attack, it's a gift. 3, the higher you rise, the easier it is to become isolated. When you are a manager, you see how people to deal with. When you become general manager, when you become director, when you now become the MD CEO, unless you take conscious, deliberate action on your part, it is easy for you to become isolated, because the higher you rise, the easier it is to become isolated. Unless you intentionally, consciously, deliberately remain connected. We are going to move from this to what I will call one of the most important aspects of this presentation this afternoon. I'll be right back. Every successful leader I've studied, and even in every books I've read about leadership, every outstanding school leaders, school owners I have studied, I've worked with, every transformational, visionary leader I've admired has one thing in common: they never lead alone. They build circles of connection. Not 1, not 2, 5. Lose 1, leadership becomes harder. And when you lose all the 5, leadership becomes lonely. Let's explore these 5 circles together. Circle 1 that every leader must have that you must never lose if you want to be a successful leader. The first circle you must never lose is what I call the mentor. Someone ahead of you who can guide you. Every leader needs someone who has already traveled the road is about to travel. In war situations, Americans will say they will not go in blind. When I was appointed the principal of Loyola College, one of the first things I did was to go and visit principals. My principals, people who had led me before, I went back to them. And I took another significant step. I went to see those who had been principals at Loyola College before me. And I learned a lot from them. They became my mentors. I asked questions. So by the time I was resuming, I was armed to the teeth as to the culture of the school, as to the relationships to establish, as to how to relate with all the stakeholders within the ecosystem. Needless to say that God helped me all through my years there. So every leader needs someone who has already traveled the road that you're about to travel. Who still has permission to advise you? That's the question. One of the greatest mistakes young leaders make is believing that promotion has made them experts. No, you are not. Promotion simply gives you new problems. Because as the leader now, you are now sitting on the hot seat. You are going to take decisions concerning finances. You're going to take decisions concerning personnel. You're going to take decisions concerning marketing, depending on your organization. You have a lot on your table. So you only have new challenges. Mentors help you solve them. Experience is a costly teacher. A mentor allows you to learn from someone else's experience instead of paying every tuition fee yourself. Somebody has already paid. And one thing I've discovered about leaders is that when you go to them with humility and show them that you are really ready to learn from them. In my life, in my experience, I've never been turned back by a single leader that I went to for advice or for leadership training. No. They're always willing to teach you. But some of us, is that we are too proud? Or, don't let me use that word, because it will appear as if I'm saying something nasty on air. If you are not proud, if pride has not overwhelmed you, any position you have just assumed, you should know that it comes with its own challenges. So that at the end of the day, you can. Don't call in yet. We are going to give you a number to call into at the right time. So, what we are going to do is the moment you assume a position of leadership, one thing you need to do and which you must do is to find a mentor. Even if you don't have one, go and get one. Somebody must have passed through that place before you. Somebody must have held similar position before you. Somebody must have that experience that you do not have at the time you are occupying that place. The second circle every leader must have is what I call the peers. P-E-E-R-S. Your colleagues, your mates. People that are walking the same journey with you. Some conversations can only happen between equals. There are conversations you cannot hold with your mentors. There are conversations you cannot hold with your juniors. But there are conversations that only your peers, your colleagues. For instance, you're a bank manager. If you're a bank manager, you have a forum with your colleagues, fellow bank managers, because you face almost the same challenges on a daily basis. For a school principal, a school leader, you have your fellow principals or fellow school leaders or fellow school owners that you can have conversations with because you are facing the same challenges. And this is where you can use your intellect to relate with people that you are equal with. When I was at Loyola College, we joined ANCOPS, All Nigerian Confederation of Principals of Secondary Schools. Each time we met as principals, we exchange ideas. We share our frustrations. For instance, when grants have not been paid, we talk about grants have not been paid. How do you manage it? When school grants are not paid for 1 term, 2 terms, 3 terms. So when you go to meetings, you learn a lot of how people are managing to cope, keep the school running until when the grant is paid. The challenges of late coming among students, you discuss it. The challenges of fees not being paid at the time when fees were being paid by students, not now when everything is free. We share frustrations, we shared solutions, we shared encouragement. The Bible says iron sharpens iron, not iron sharpeneth wood. So what I'm saying here is never compete with your peers so much that you stop learning from them. Don't see your peers as competitors or rivals. The third circle every leader must have is what I call your team. Your team. Even Jesus Christ had his own team. Peter, John, James. When he was going to the Garden of Gethsemane, he called them Peter, John, James. You must have your own team. The people closest to you, they often see what those far away cannot see. Let me ask you this question. When was the last time you genuinely asked your team, what can I do better? That's humility. You are not proud. You don't feel that you know it all. You are asking your team, what can I do better? With all humility. You are the boss. I learned this lesson from Pastor Sam Adeyemi. He was telling a story about a company that wanted to increase their sales. The sales figure has gone down and they were meeting. For the third day, they've been meeting. The top executives, they've been meeting, trying to find solutions how to increase their sales. And there was this messenger who has been serving them tea. Of course, while serving the tea, he must have been overhearing what they were saying. And at one of the occasions when he went to serve them tea, he just raised up his hand that he wanted to talk. And everybody was just wondering, what would an ordinary messenger say when senior executives of the company are brainstorming? Is it not just to serve tea and get out? And some of them shouted him down. But the chairman said, let him talk. And the man just said, you've been talking, I've been hearing you the last 3 days. A company sells toothpaste. And the man suggested that if you want to sell more, just increase the diameter of where the toothpaste comes out. And by simply doing that, people have been using your toothpaste, it will take them 1 month. It will now take them 2 weeks. And when they finish, they will buy more. And that was what the company implemented. And before you know it, the sales soar. What is the takeaway there? Some of you that you are leaders, you hardly think outside the box again. You are well formed. You have your way of doing things. But when you have your team and you can ask questions from your team and show humility and they trust you that you are genuinely asking for their opinions, the kind of suggestion that they will bring up, you will be shocked. Where you never thought things could go better, they will show you. But if you don't have a team, you have nobody you are talking to, you think you know all the answers, people will say, just continue dancing, I'm looking at you. They'll just be looking at you. They will not tell you what's on their mind. Many leaders have never asked that question. What can I do better? The smartest person in the room should not always be the leader. the smartest person in a room should not always be the leader. Any leader that ignores the team eventually loses the team. Any leader that ignores the team eventually loses the team. You know why? They won't talk to you again. They won't speak with you. They won't share anything with you. Circle number 4 that every leader must have. I'm sure you won't expect this. And that circle is your critics. Your critics. Yes, I said so. Your critics. Those you think are your enemies. I don't want to say your enemies. Those people that you think they don't like you. They just hate me. They don't like me. They always criticize me. Let me also be honest. Not every critic is an enemy. Some critics are unpaid consultants. You don't pay them. They are unpaid consultants. I will also be honest with you. Some criticisms can be malicious. Malicious criticisms. You will see them. Just ignore such criticisms. But some criticism contains truth. Learn from such. Wise leaders don't ask, who criticized me? They ask, is there any truth in what was said? Is there any truth in what was said? That's the question that wise leaders ask, not who criticized me. So I'm saying to you this afternoon, don't reject truth simply because it came from an unfriendly voice. And that's a mild way of saying it. Don't reject truth simply because it came from your supposed enemy. And the 5th circle that every leader must have is what I call the family. Sometimes, the only people who loved us before we became a leader, because we became leaders, are the same people who will still love us after leadership is gone. Never become so busy leading the public that you stop leading your family. A principal will one day retire. A CEO will resign one day. A commissioner will leave office. A governor will leave office, maximum 8 years. A president will leave office. A DG will leave office. Chairman of bank after 10 years. But at home, you remain a husband, you remain a wife, you remain a father, you remain a mother. What I'm saying in essence is that leadership titles expire. Relationships should not. The greatest applause you will ever receive should come from the people who know you without your title. Every leader, whether you are leading a state or a country or a local government, an organization, a big bank or a commercial, what's it called? Microfinance bank or any organization, you should constantly ask yourself these 5 questions. Number 1, who is mentoring me? Who is my mentor? Question number 2 that you ask yourself as a leader constantly, consciously and deliberately, who is walking beside me? Question number 3, who is speaking honestly to me? You have so many circle fans surrounding you, but among them, you should be able to pick 1 or 2 people that if you want to hear the truth about yourself, those are the people you will go to and ask them questions. Okay, what have I done wrong? What am I not doing well? How can I improve? What can I do better? If there are no such people in your life, it's a red flag for you as a leader. Number 4, who is correcting me? And finally, who am I neglecting at home? Is it your husband, your wife, your children, your brothers and sisters, your friends? Who am I neglecting? If you cannot answer those 5 questions, you may be leading, but you are not well connected. Let me say this. Mentors give direction. Peers, that is your colleagues, your mates, they give encouragement. Teams give perspective. Critics give correction. You may not like the way they will correct you, but whenever somebody is criticizing you, not every critic is your enemy. Some, like I said earlier, are your unpaid consultants. And 5, family give stability. Together, they keep leaders grounded. They keep you afloat. Even when you're about to sink, these are people that will keep you afloat. I'll be right back. You're welcome back. This is still your program, The Professional Edge, Education Unlocked, and we are reaching you from the Knowledge Hub, Oxygen FM 96.9. Okay, Adebadan. I'm your host, Akin Ade. Now we are going to identify 7 silent symptoms of leadership isolation. What are the red flags you will see, and you will know that already, though you are surrounded by people healing you, you are receiving ovation, you are gradually becoming isolated. These are the warning signs leaders usually miss until the damage is completely done. And this is the part I've been looking forward to. I honestly believe this is the heart of the program. So we have just finished looking at the 5 circles that already educate us. This next session will change lives, the way you see your leadership. Because people don't recognize isolation until someone describes it. Today, we are going to describe what isolation really looks like. Let me start by saying this. Leadership isolation doesn't announce itself. It doesn't knock on your door, on your office door. It doesn't send you a text message saying, "Congratulations, you are now isolated." No. It arrives quietly. It's like termites eating the foundation of a beautiful house. Everything looks fine from the outside until one day the structure collapses. The structure begins to crack, and you now say that, so it has finished. So how do you know that a leader is gradually becoming isolated? There are 7 symptoms we are going to identify. 7 warning signs. Every leader should watch out. Whether you are leading a big bank or a small bank, whether you are leading a big organization or a small organization, whether you are leading a department in the university, even in a secondary school, whether you are running a school, whatever, even if you are an entrepreneur, you are a leader, your own right. How do you know that you are gradually becoming isolated? Symptom number 1, everybody agrees with you. That's a very dangerous one. There's nobody criticizing you. The day everybody around you agrees with everything you say is the day you should become worried. Not because you're always wrong, but because someone may no longer feel safe enough to disagree. I want you to know that agreement is not always loyalty. Sometimes it is fear. Wearing a fake smile. Some people agree with you, but in their heart of hearts, they don't agree with you, but they are already afraid because you are the boss. Should I tell him now? I don't have any other job. I have my wife and children at home to feed. Even though the boss is wrong, I can't tell the boss that it's wrong. I've had occasions to disagree with my bosses, but they already created an atmosphere where I can go back to them and say, sir, I disagree with you. With all due respect, I feel this could have been done better. And when I was principal of Loyola College, at every meeting, I will always tell them, I do not know it all. I'm not God. I don't know everything. I'm ready to learn from you. After all, we are going to succeed together. And as the leader of this organization, of this place, if we succeed, nobody will ask me. And I'm telling you as a leader today, if your organization succeeds, nobody asks you, how did you win? They ask you, did you win? Not how did you win. That one will come later. And if you are leading a successful organization, the ovation will first of all come to you. But if you are magnanimous, which I should advise you, you should be, if you are magnanimous enough, you'll be able to, you just make it clear that I did not achieve this alone, which I was always doing as the principal of Loyola College. When we had good, fantastic results, I would tell the stakeholders, I did not do this alone. Yes, leadership matters. It matters such that there is no school that has become exceptional today. There's no documented evidence of any school that has been successful all over the world where the success is not traceable to the leadership. But we all know that the leader cannot do it alone. You are running a successful private school. Yes, you are not doing it alone. But you should be wary of a situation where nobody is disagreeing with you. Everybody is saying, yes, you are doing well. That's when you should become worried. Symptom number 2. You as a leader, you have become isolated when you stop asking questions. Earlier in the leadership position, you ask, you listen, you learn. Later, you talk, you instruct, you assume. Curiosity is the oxygen of great leadership. The moment curiosity dies, growth begins to suffocate. You should ask people you are leading, how are we doing? What can we do better? What have I done wrong? Give them the liberty to criticize you with respect. I always tell members of the staff when I was in service that, look, if I'm not doing anything right, you have the right to come and tell me. And I'm saying this on here today and before God and man. Some of them that are my best friends, even after leaving service, some of them are now principals themselves. Many of them are principals. Some of them are even resigning already. They will silently come to me and say, sir, I think we could have done it better. I disagree with what you said. I say, okay, give me a superior argument. So, in that place, everybody knew that Akin Akinade would take your advice once you give him a superior argument. And even if your argument is not superior, and I think it is better than me in one way or the other, I will just go back. I'm never afraid to say I was wrong. I will go back and then change it without announcing that somebody told me. And when you get good result, people still applaud me, not the person that gave me the advice. But I will always be magnanimous enough to acknowledge the people that gave me piece of advice that made me succeed. Symptom number 3, that you know that you are becoming isolated. When you begin to carry everybody alone, all the wahalas of your place of work is on your head. Many of our leaders think delegation is weakness. No, it is not. Delegation is wisdom. Even Moses needed Aaron and Hur to hold up his hand. You can't do everything alone. You don't know everything. Nobody knows everything. Even not only one person wrote the Bible. So how can you be foreman? Whether you are leading a school or another organization, you must bear it in mind that you cannot carry the burden alone. The moment you start to carry the burden alone, you are becoming isolated. Symptom number 4. When you start to enter the room before your character, let me explain. People stand when you enter the room. They salute you. People become quiet. Not because of respect, but because of your position. Just ask yourself, if you leave that place tomorrow, would they still be doing the same thing for you? If your title disappeared, who will still seek your company? That question hurts. And that's why it works. Who will still seek your company? I've seen situations where somebody has retired. It's on social media. A police officer has retired. And the officers under him were asking him to go out, that they didn't want to see him within the premises again. You have seen ministers leaving the offices and the staff are rejoicing. They are shouting. They are seeing him off with ignominy. Symptom number 5. You no longer receive honest feedback. That's a sign that you are becoming isolated. Some leaders have suggestion boxes. Others have silent boxes. Silent boxes. People stop talking, not because nothing is wrong, but because they believe nothing they ever tell you will change things. You have become set in your ways. They don't believe in you again. They know you don't take to corrections. Even if they present you with superior argument, you will not change. We just keep doing the same thing. And so at a point, let's just leave Oga alone. Let him continue to do whatever he likes to do. Symptoms number 6 that is showing that you are becoming isolated is when you become too busy to build relationships. When I was principal of Loyola College, I built relationships intentionally with the stakeholders, with the church, the Catholic church that owns the school, with old students, with the community, such that whenever my students went out, they had my numbers. They would just do the video. They would send the video to me, and the following day, we would just go and pick the boy in the class. Everybody was wondering, how did Oga get to know that this boy left school before the close of the day? They didn't know that the community was helping me. You build relationships with the staff, with the parents, with students, with old boys, not just because it was my job, but because relationships are part of leadership. Leadership is not measured only by the meetings you attend. It is also measured by the relationships you maintain. Symptom number 7. You are becoming isolated the moment you start believing you are indispensable, that nothing could be done without you. This is the climax of it. Every cemetery all over the world is full of people the world once thought it couldn't do without. They are all dead. They are in the cemetery. People thought they couldn't do without them. After they died, people continue with their lives. Leadership is stewardship. It is not ownership. You are there to serve people. I want to ask you 7 personal questions. Don't answer me. Answer yourself. Number 1 question. Do people still correct you? Number 2. Do you still seek advice? Number 3. Do you still learn from others? Number 4. Are you approachable? Number 5. Have you neglected important relationships? Number 6. Am I leading with people or merely over people? There are 2 different things. Leading with people and leading over people, they are two different things. So ask yourself, am I leading with people or merely leading over people? Finding number 7. If I step down today, will people miss my leadership or simply replace my position? Would they say, when Mr. Lagbaja was here, no, we are missing you. When you get back to your place where you were once a leader and they are not telling you they are missing, and I mean telling you with all sincerity, not psychophancy, God, we have missed you. You sincerely tell you that they have missed you. You must have left an impact. Leadership isolation is not about being alone. It is about losing the people who make you better than you could have been without them. Great leaders don't fear feedback. They seek for feedback. They don't avoid correction. They invite it. They don't build walls. They build bridges. You must remember, the higher you rise, the more intentional you must become about staying connected. Leadership is strengthened by honest relationships, not blind admiration. A leader who cannot be corrected will eventually be defeated. The strongest leaders are not those who know everything. They are those who keep learning. I'll be right back. We have talked about the danger of isolation. We have explored the 5 circles of leader, the 5 circles every leader needs. We have identified the warning signs that leader may be drifting into isolation. Now let's become practical. Connection is not an accident, it's a habit. Every leader I've ever admired in my life has intentionally developed habits that keep them connected to people, to purpose, and to continuous growth. Let's quickly examine some of the habits that will keep you connected. Whether you are leading a church, you are leading a school, you are leading a bank, you are leading a multinational, these habits will keep you connected. Habit number 1, listen more than you speak. God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. Perhaps leadership should follow the same ratio. Listen more than you talk. Habit number 2, walk around. In Loyola College, I will always walk around, not staying in the office. I discovered something during those years as principal. Some of the most valuable information I received never came during formal meetings. They came during walking around the school, greeting teachers, talking to students, checking classrooms, listening to non-teaching staff, and the rest. Habit 3, number 3. Great leaders, connected leaders, they learn continuously. I must have said this. I went for a course, 2021, School Growth International. And after that, I went for a course that made me to become a chartered school administrator. The money was 100,000 naira, the course fee. I indicated intention to study because I always crave for knowledge. Eventually, Dr. Adibare Egunjobi, the director of EIN, said the management discovered that I was the only public school principal that applied. And the management, in its wisdom, because I was the only one throughout the country, the only public school principal, I was given scholarship. God just rewarded my faith. Not that I had that money, but I had made up my mind that I will continue to learn, to add more to knowledge. The day a leader stops learning, people quietly stop following. So you continue reading, training, attend conferences, watch podcasts, mentorship, continuous professional development. Number 4, they build trust before they need it. This one is huge. Relationships are like bank accounts. Every encouragement, every act of kindness, every promise kept is a deposit. Then one difficult day comes, and leadership requires a withdrawal. If you have made enough deposits, you are going to be able to withdraw. People stay with you if you have made enough deposits. If the account is empty, nobody stays with you. Habit number 5, celebrate others. The easiest way to lose a team is to make every success about yourself. I've said that earlier on. I always commend my staff, Loyola College. Habit number 6, they welcome feedback, take the criticisms. Habit number 7, they develop other leaders. And habit number 8, they never lose their humanity. They speak from the heart. No matter how much you rise, don't be too important to apologize. Don't be too important to say thank you. And these are the takeaways that you will learn from this. Finally, as we come to the end of today's edition of Professional Edge, permit to leave you with one final thought. An old African proverb says, a tree does not stand because of its height. It stands because of the strength of its roots. Leadership is not different. People often admire the visible parts of leadership: the office, the title, the authority, the applause, the ovation. But the true strength of a leader is rarely visible. It is found in the mentor who still tells you the truth, the colleague who challenges your thinking, the team that trusts your heart, the family that keeps you grounded, and yes, even the critic who helps you become better. Never become so successful that you no longer need people, because one day your title will become mystery. Someone else will occupy your office. But one thing will remain: the lives you touched, the people you lifted, the leaders you developed, the hope you inspired, and the character you displayed. So today, don't merely ask yourself, how well am I leading? Ask yourself, who is becoming better because I lead? Because at the end of the day, people may forget your title, but they will never forget your touch. I'm Akin Akinade, Chartered School Administrator, School Growth Advocate, and former principal of Loyola College, and your host on the Professional Edge. Until we meet again next week, same station, same dial. Stay connected, stay teachable, stay humble, and remember, education builds minds, leadership builds people, but character builds generations. Keep learning, keep leading, and keep making a difference. God bless you, and have a wonderfully connected weekend. Shalom.
Oxygen FM 96.9 Ibadan.
Can you handle this?
1, 2, 3, 4. Turn it up, cause it's getting heavy.
I know a place.
And this how we gonna do it.
Now put your hands up.
So crazy right now. Your station, your heartbeat. Oxygen FM 96.9 Ibadan.
Oxygen.